You're listening to Nice-ish, a podcast about reality TV and your opinions, with your hosts, Cindy and Grace. Hi, everyone, and welcome to episode 34 of Nice-ish. I'm here with my co-host, Grace. Hi, Grace.
Hi. How's your week going?
My week is going. It's going.
Is it okay?
Yeah, it's okay. But I wanted to talk about how we did an unintentional science experiment this week.
Yeah. That's actually, I found this interesting, so hopefully somebody else does
Yeah,
too.
we had to Google it, but we learned something. We went grocery shopping, and in the bag, I had a bunch of bananas. Are bananas a bunch?
Yeah.
Is that what they're called?
Yeah, I think so.
I don't even know.
Yeah. Right?
Like, it's not a group of bananas. Is it
No,
a
that's not
bunch? A bushel?
A bushel? No, that would be a...
Okay, bunch.
Yeah.
A bunch of bananas. Had them in the bag. When we got home, I usually take things that I eat frequently upstairs, and I kind of leave them in my room because I work from there too a lot. So the bananas...
And why go downstairs when it could be right there next to you?
Why get up and you don't have to? So I had left them in the grocery bag with a couple other things. I don't know, I'd say maybe 4 hours later or something.
Yeah.
I went to get one, and they were so beyond ripe. They were smooshy.
Yeah,
And
brown.
Oh my God, so brown.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what the hell happened? I'm like, I
quick.
know I did not buy these bananas. Did somebody switch these bananas out? And so you're like, that is so weird. Let me Google it. Mm-hmm. And so what did you Google?
I Googled left bananas in grocery bag.
So very specific.
Yes. And it came up and said, if you leave bananas in a grocery bag, they will likely ripen faster than intended because the plastic bag traps moisture and ethylene gas, which is naturally produced by bananas and accelerates the ripening process. So it's literally best to remove them as soon as you possibly can.
So it wasn't even like light green to
No,
yellow or whatever. It went from yellow to brown in hours.
Right.
Like total accelerant.
I mean, like, you could go buy them and then make banana bread with them in, like, 4 hours.
Yeah, it was crazy. Oh, I've been saying banana. I meant banana.
We don't need to tell people about this. We don't need to publicly put this out there.
I want people's opinions. I think that we should have a rule in our car that whenever we get in, we can only speak with a British accent.
Yeah, you said that to me. Like, it came out of nowhere, too. We were having a normal conversation, then you said that. And
Yeah.
I was like, why? Why?
Because it's cool.
Is it?
It's very cool. And so I'm like, the only way to get good at it is to practice. So whenever we're in the car, we should listen to like something on Spotify on how to pass for a really good British accent, or even Australian. I wouldn't care.
Well, Bluey's for that. Bluey's for Australian. Dorit is the passable sort of like American British accent. So we would probably sound like her.
No, I want to be better than her. I want to be able to slip into that accent at any time, talking to anybody, and have them be like, "Oh, where are you from?" And be like,
I just picked it up.
So right now, I can only kind of do quotes from Harry Potter.
And spells are only going to get you so far. You can only work that into a conversation.
Yeah, so yeah, that might not come in handy in casual conversation.
Unless you know somebody named Harry. That's about it.
Yeah.
Harry.
Or I'm trying to cast a Lumos spell or something.
You do that with your phone, though.
I do.
With your flashlight.
Ugh.
So there you go.
Nerd alert. Yes, I use Lumos and Nox to turn on my flashlight. So anyway, I thought it should be a rule, and the sucker of fun that you are won't participate.
What if you do it on accident, like out somewhere, and people are just looking at you like you fade in and out? Then people will be like, what is wrong with
I
her?
would not fade in and out. I would be so good that nobody could tell.
I don't know.
I still think we should do it, but
Let's put a pin in it.
okay, we'll put a pin in it.
Let's talk about this week's episode of Real Housewives of Beverly Hills.
Okay.
The main focus of the episode was Beau's hosting a Sisterhood Serenity Soiree for all the women, saying sometimes in the boardroom, someone has a good idea, but they don't know how to execute it, meaning Sutton.
Yes.
And so Beau's is taking a crack at it.
I think she can do it.
Better her than Sutton.
Yes.
Sutton doesn't quite,
Right. She likes
her
the
point
sentiment of
Yes.
it, but, didn't go well.
Before we get to that, though, I wanted to mention something Kyle said to her sister Kathy on FaceTime.
Mm-hmm.
Kathy wasn't going to be at Beau's because she was on vacation. So Kyle tells her she had the biggest fight with Dorit, and Kathy says, "Again?"
I know. That was so funny.
And Kyle says, "All these years that we have been friends, she always loved that PK and I are like a brother and sister. All of a sudden, she decides that bothers her." Really, Kyle? Seriously? Do you really think that she doesn't get it?
I don't know. I mean, all of a sudden she's not married.
Yeah.
She's separated now. So of course she wants you to get along with her husband while she's married.
Yeah.
But I mean, circumstances have changed. I don't know. She's really irritating me now.
Yeah.
Kyle's always been meh to me. I didn't love her, but I didn't hate her. I did not like her.
Yeah.
So I thought she was fine.
Uh-huh.
But now I'm just like, I don't know. If I went back and rewatched seasons, I'm not sure I would have even felt average towards her.
I think that Kyle, when you put a lot of things together, like all the seasons, is kind of like not a really nice person.
Yeah. I bet you I would see that as well.
And I think because it's so spread out that sometimes you just consider her meh.
Well, and
or
sometimes we
average.
get worse.
Yeah.
So
True.
someone overshadows that.
Yeah, exactly. Somebody else has a problem going on, so then it's like, okay, we're not focusing on her. But I feel like she probably says like a lot of mean things that either about people that we don't know about or even on camera. But if we went back and looked, I feel like there'd be a lot there.
I would guess that as well.
So after all the women arrive at Beau's home, they change into the robes and slippers that she got them. And we have another funny moment when she introduces them to the Chef Daryl.
Yes. Who was hot.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was cute.
I think that all the women noticed.
Yeah.
Too,
Oh, immediately.
very quickly. And he tells them that they all look beautiful, and Garcelle starts the flirting first with "who's more beautiful," followed by Erica saying, "We're all single except for her, so we're all available." So just get that out there.
My favorite was Jennifer. Jennifer's says, "We're all in heat." But yeah, he was a very handsome man.
Isn't that funny though that where we are now that nobody's gonna be like married on this show? How does that happen?
And Erica referring to her, I think she means Beau's,
Yeah.
right?
I thought
Because Beau's is the one in a serious relationship. But
yes.
I mean, when you think about it, Kyle's not, Dorit's not, Erica's not, Garcelle's not, Sutton's not, and that leaves Jennifer. And I don't think she is either.
Right. Yeah. So it was just Beau's. Yeah.
So yeah.
So the women go outside to get massages, and Beau's brings up to Kyle that at first she understood Kyle not wanting to read her text, but then when she heard that she read it to everyone but her and Dorit, she asked for her to share it now.
Right.
Which I think is fine and fair, but
I would agree too. I mean, my God, if you're finally reading that to people, why Dorit hasn't heard it, I don't know.
well, and it looks shady that you didn't tell Beau's because right now she's the best with Dorit, and you didn't tell Dorit.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
weird. But
Agreed.
Kyle steps away and starts crying. Okay. And Erica consoles her, and Kyle goes back and reads the text to the group. In her explanation, she says something that I thought was really weird.
Mm-hmm.
She mentions the part about never repeating anything PK has shared with her. But then she says that in reference to producers in the show. So not about Dorit. That doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, it made zero sense to me as well. I don't understand how you could be talking to PK, he could say something, and you're like, don't worry, I'll never repeat this to production. Like, repeat what? Anything other than Dorit, they wouldn't care about.
Yeah.
So, what wouldn't you repeat? It makes no sense.
It makes no sense, and it just literally looks like you're trying to lie on top of another lie.
Yeah.
So it just is compiling. And I mean, I know that she said in her confessional, Kyle said that she's like, well, we talked about a lot of things. We talked about, you know,
Lisa
the
Vanderpump.
and we talked about something else. I forgot what she said. But it wasn't, but she's like, but not about Dorit. And I'm like, I find that really hard to believe that you talk about everything except Dorit.
Yeah, it didn't make sense. And if she had just come clean and said she was friends with him too, but if she has to choose, she'll choose Dorit.
Anyway, Kyle then tells everyone that they should be ashamed of themselves and walks off and leaves.
Yes, which was ridiculous.
Yeah, I know. Like, what? Just stay. Where
oh my
are you
God,
going?
Sutton was so over it. Because Bose is like, let's go talk to her. And she's like, I'm not doing it. This is so dramatic. And she's like, come on. Ugh, okay.
Which is so funny coming from Sutton. Anything that she says that's dramatic, I'm like,
Oh, I
it's
know.
hilarious
Yeah.
to me.
Pop
But yeah,
kettle.
I exactly. But I agree, though. I
Yes.
actually agree with Sutton. But
Yeah.
So Dorit is actually the one that goes after Kyle and explains how nasty PK can be to her. And Kyle says something that I am really stunned by and not sure that Dorit really knows how she feels about their friendship, because this to me was huge. Kyle says she thinks Dorit is taking the opportunity to paint PK in a bad light, and she's never seen him behave that way.
I gasped. Literally gasped.
I just thought, wow, really? You're going to go that far to discredit her?
She said something like, I mean, I'm not inside their marriage, so I don't know, but I've never seen him act that way. Like, bitch, are you kidding me?
I know.
And actually, PK has copped to stuff
Yes,
too.
yes,
Like when he was
has.
at that dinner with Dorit, he said, if you and I spoke to each other in front of everyone here the way we speak to each other at home, we'd be thrown out. He's copping to it.
Mm-hmm.
He copped to his part.
Yeah.
I said copped a lot there, but he's admitting to his part. And for Kyle to actually think that Dorit is embellishing or lying or making him come off worse, it was just so gross to me.
Yeah, for as long as Kyle and Dorit have been friends, it just really seems like an odd turn to just throw that away because you're mad at her right now.
Yeah.
And be like, I'm going to take the side of your ex-husband.
Ugh. I was like, ugh. And she constantly refers to herself as a girl's girl.
I know. It's like, you're not.
No. You're not a girl's girl. You're not a sister's sister.
All of these sisterhood things are
Yeah.
not getting through to Kyle
Nah.
here. All these events.
We've known that since episode 1, season 1.
So you had tweeted out, Kyle basically called Dorit out for exaggerating about PK. Gross. And you got a response back from @sloppyjoe_y, who said, this was so gross. Kyle is being exposed this season. I'm a girl's girl. Then, when being told about the relationship, she says, that's not what I saw, and accuses her of lying to get exposure and sympathy from the breakup. Ick.
Yes, total ick. I thought it was appalling. Honestly, I thought it was terrible. For her to insinuate that whatever Dorit's experiencing in her marriage, that she's like embellishing it, whatever, about PK. I was disappointed with the whole thing. It really made me change how I view Kyle.
Yeah, Kyle is not a girl's girl like she claims to be. To say that and do this is two separate things. And for as long as you've known Dorit, you would think that just because you're mad at her, you would at least not side with her ex-husband.
Mm-hmm.
And then discredit her at the same time.
I
Not
know.
only side with PK, but be like, I've never seen it.
It's terrible.
In the last scene of the episode, Erica and Dorit meet for facials, and Dorit tells Erica she not only thinks that when Kyle said she wouldn't share what her and PK talked about was about her, she also believes Erica thinks that too, even though she won't admit it. She's kind of like trying to get it out of her a little bit.
Yeah, she was.
Erica's not budging, though.
No, she's not.
Yeah. Erica says, no, it can be true, but she doesn't know. She needs more proof. Which, after being married to a lawyer for 20 years who taught her something, even though he's disgusting, I understand that. I just would like to get that point across. Because if we're mentioning him, I need it to be known.
Right. We don't like him.
Yeah. Also, it was done to Erica, and she didn't like it. She didn't like that immediate judgment.
Yeah, and nobody believed her.
And yeah. And Erica said she needs concrete proof.
I agree with all of that. And I really think that she's invested in a friendship with Kyle too.
Yeah.
And Dorit needs to understand that, you know, she has two different sides of the story. And until she has proof one way or the other, she's not going to just write somebody off.
Well, and it's also probably because Dorit honestly kind of threw her under the bus when they were at dinner that one time. Mm-hmm. And she was like, Kyle, Erica said it too. Erica believes me.
Right.
Erica said that. And Erica was probably like, never again. I'm not doing it.
Yeah, right.
So because I would have been pissed about that too. So Dorit in her confessional says Erica is afraid of Kyle. And that's why she's not speaking up for Dorit, which I'll read your post on this first, but I mean, I have my own thoughts. But you had tweeted out, I actually disagree with Dorit about Erica. I think it's exactly what Erica said. Without proof, she's not picking a side. Does it look shady? Hell yeah, but Erica wants proof. And you got a response back from @JerseyGirl1196. who said, I think it also stems from what she went through, and I think picking sides in this battle could be dangerous to her health.
Yeah, no, I think it definitely stems from what Erica went through. She felt no support from anybody. She said she wasn't guilty of anything illegal or whatever. Regardless of what fans think, she wanted the support from her friends.
She only wanted a pizza party. That's it.
And earrings.
And yeah, oh God.
But yeah, she went through it and she felt, I mean, I think even Dorit was one of the ones who was talking shit about Erica.
Yeah, I would bet that all of them had their own side conversations.
Yeah,
about
so
her.
She's not doing it. And I don't think it has anything to do with fear.
Not at all. Honestly, I think that most people would be afraid of her, like Erica, of her going off on you if she does. I mean, because that would be just a little scary.
I recently rewatched the scene of Erica and Eileen.
Oh, really?
In Hong Kong.
Yeah.
It doesn't stop with, you don't know what I deal with at night or whatever. It goes on for a good 3 minutes after that. And that part was so much worse. It was bad. And Eileen was like borderline tears. And it was horrible. Yeah, I would not want to be on the receiving end of anything Erica Jane is pissed about.
In the sneak peek for next week, it looks like Kyle and Dorit talk again on the beach, and Dorit flat out asks her, are you my friend and loyal to me, or PK's friend and loyal to him?
I honestly don't know what she's going to choose.
I know. Seems like PK. I would be shocked. Or Kyle might lie and be like, I'm friends with both of you. We also see that Kyle must make some sort of apology to the group because Sutton corrects her on it. And Kyle says, I will apologize the way I want to.
Yeah.
And Dorit said Jagger asks if her and PK are divorced.
Yeah.
See, it's like your kids know, you know?
Well, my God, he's not living in the house. They're like, where the hell's Dad? You know?
Yeah.
So I know that they're young, but, you know, you can't hide that.
I know. So that'll be next week.
All right, let's talk about this week's Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. It was part 1 of the reunion. And they covered actually a few topics. Whitney explained about the whole Alibaba stock photo thing. I still don't get it.
I don't get it either. She made it so confusing.
Yeah.
All she had to do was just say, oh, yeah, the photo got stolen or something.
I don't think it did. I don't know what she's... The confusing thing to me, though, was that she said they used like a place filler, for theirs. But I'm like, but it's jewelry. So if you're using a stock photo, how can the jewelry be the same?
Right. How could your vendor have a stock photo of it? Are they getting it from somebody?
Yeah. So that didn't make sense to me when she's always talking about having designed pieces.
Yes.
Her line is designed. What?
Curated.
Yes. Curated pieces. But then someone has a stock photo of something very similar?
Yeah,
I don't know.
It was
The
weird.
whole thing didn't make sense, but we really aren't going to get into it.
We can't get into it because I don't know how to get into it. And I don't know what it means.
Then there was the whole Angie-Lisa thing with Angie calling Lisa a bad mom and the whole deterioration of their friendship. They talked about that a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
They talked about Meredith calling Angie a backup dancer in Jen Shah's TikTok video with Monica.
God.
Angie was pissed.
She really was.
It was some overreaction, isn't it?
It was. I mean, I suppose, though, that... Why are we still bringing up Jen Shah? I mean, I wouldn't want to be reminded of the fact that I was friends with a criminal.
I know.
Felon. So
I know.
That could be it.
And then Lisa called Bronwyn her social friend, not like a good friend.
Yeah.
That was
Ouch.
harsh, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
But what we're going to talk about is the necklace.
Boy. Necklace Gate.
Because in one episode of the season, Bronwyn's husband, Todd, had purchased her a $4 million necklace for their anniversary. Or so we thought.
Mm-hmm.
Andy said to Bronwyn that he thought she might wear it to the reunion, and she replied with, I thought about it. It might clear up some questions. So that right there, probably a mistake, because we find out that she doesn't actually have the necklace, that they didn't buy the $4 million one.
Mm-hmm.
So it sparks a conversation that's been going on social media for days. Like, Team Lisa or Team Bronwyn. Nobody's really in the middle.
Oh, okay.
It's kind of one side or the other. And maybe it's just who follows me particularly, but it looks like most are on Bronwyn's side about this sort of thing.
Yeah.
And Bronwyn goes on to say that they didn't buy the large necklace, but had a smaller necklace commissioned along with some hoop earrings and some rings. And Lisa chimes in saying that the jeweler, Emma, who she completely throws under the bus here,
I know. God.
says that Emma told her that Bronwyn didn't buy anything. Nothing. And so I got to say, it's a bit of a gotcha moment because Bronwyn does look caught.
Yeah, and honestly, I could actually see in one clip, maybe it was before they went to commercial, like I could kind of see her chest, like she was either breathing a little heavier or like her heart was racing. You could kind of tell a little bit that she was very caught off guard by Lisa kind of coming at her with this.
Lisa said that Emma, the jeweler, reached out to her after 2 years. She's like, hey, hi. Did you hear about Bronwyn? Like, what?
Right.
And nobody believed it.
No.
I mean, Angie was the first one to be like, I think it was Whitney who was like, wait, she reached out to you? And Lisa's like, yeah. And Angie's like, I don't think so, Lisa.
Well, you know what I would have asked Andy as he was reading Lisa's phone? I would have been like, I don't care what Emma the jeweler sent you. Did Lisa respond to her? Or did Lisa write her? That's what I would have looked for. Because we're only
sure
looking
he did. I'm sure he read all of it.
Uh-huh.
So none of the women really believe that Emma reached out first. They all are, a bit disgusted by Emma.
Yeah.
And Angie calls Emma unprofessional. And Mary says she would never buy anything from her if this is how she treats customers, by breaching their privacy this way.
I know. I would totally agree with Mary and Angie on this too, especially because how on earth did you feel comfortable enough to write Lisa about it? So to be like, you haven't talked to her in 2 years, you obviously know the girl.
Right.
She has your phone number.
Yeah, right? Oh, good point.
So she was just able to write you? Like, I don't know. This seems weird.
The whole thing is very, very fishy. So Bronwyn says she's going to go home and post a pic of her jewelry. But then after this episode on Watch What Happens Live, Bronwyn was on.
Mm-hmm.
And so she said she doesn't have any of the jewelry, that they canceled the order. And so I have 2 posts about this that I want to talk about because there were hundreds of comments on this. It's really hard to pick out ones that are different because everybody's kind of saying a lot of the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I had tweeted out, I'm going to preface comments about tonight's Real Housewives of Salt Lake City reunion with, just because I complain about someone doesn't mean I want them off the show or that I think that they don't make a great housewife.
Mm-hmm.
But Lisa is impossible. She doesn't listen ever. And we got a reply back from @MessyCat who said, permanently stuck in defensive mode.
God. I know. Yeah. I would totally agree with that. She just, almost when she doesn't have to be either. Like, we're not even going to be talking about Lisa, and then she jumps in.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, Lisa, I've told you, Angie said it. She's like, I've told you, do not chime in. Do not butt into when I'm talking with Meredith, and she can't help herself. She literally just can't be quiet.
Yeah.
If Lisa could be quiet, I actually think half of her issues would be solved.
Yeah. Good point. So the second post I had was that Bronwyn said on Watch What Happens Live last night that she was in contact with the jewelers days before the reunion, and the plan was to have the jeweler make her several pieces until she heard at the reunion that Emma was talking to Lisa. So we got a reply back from No VA Girl 703 who said, even if Bronwyn didn't disclose the truth, it's jewelry. Who cares? Lisa's acting like a dog who won't let go of a bone, and it's so exhausting. It's more annoying than the lie. Now, look, I'm actually Team Bronwyn kind of with the whole Lisa thing and all of their issues.
Mm-hmm.
However, I will admit Bronwyn should have just copped to shit right in the beginning.
Yeah.
She does say that she didn't buy the necklace before Lisa says she didn't buy it.
Yes, that's
so
what
I will say when Andy's like, you know, you should have worn it. And she's like, oh, yeah, I should have. And she goes, but, you know, we didn't buy that one. We're getting a smaller one. So she actually said that first.
Herself, yes.
But I do think it's possible that these pieces were commissioned and that she didn't have them yet.
Yeah, like when she says that I purchased them, it could also mean I had them commissioned, like, because she said that the necklace was. So I don't know if the hoops were done too. Like, it's weird because she was saying it as though she had it,
yes.
But I don't know if that's the case. And what she really meant was, I can show you the receipts, like the literal receipt.
Right.
Like,
That's what I wonder too, because she's like, I can go home and take photos of the jewelry.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, but you don't have them yet. They're not made yet. So this wasn't a great moment for Bronwyn.
Yeah, I know. And it's almost like, I hate being like, you're a liar, you lied,
Mm-hmm.
because it seems very like severe in this case.
Well, I did see a lot of comments like the one I just read,
Mm-hmm.
where they're like, I really don't care that she lied about the jewelry. And I was like, well, what else do housewives lie about? And I'm like, they lie about their age. They lie about their bank account. They lie about if they own their home. They lie about plastic surgery.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a million things. They lie to each other.
I know.
So,
Hey, did you say this about me?
no.
No.
Flashback.
Yeah.
So, do we care that she lied about the jewelry? I wish she was more concise about the whole thing and what happened, because it's a little murky.
It is. And I feel like also why a lot of people may not care as much too is that this is a very like low stakes lie.
You would think so.
Because
I mean, Lisa loses her shit over it, but yes.
Right. But in reality, it doesn't have to do with anybody else except Bronwyn, literally.
Right.
So I don't necessarily care too much. And
Yeah.
I feel like she didn't quite get her timeline in order, Bronwyn. And I'm not sure if it's because she was the one talking to the jeweler or if Todd was. and Todd was the one that was doing all this, because if it was he was purchasing it for her, I don't know if she was the one buying it.
I
So then he
think
just
she was a
told her,
bit
but
shell-shocked that the jeweler was talking to anyone about her private purchases. And
yeah.
that just threw her off, and then she couldn't quite recover.
Yeah, that is true.
So after a couple other topics, Andy actually gets back to Lisa and Bronwyn, and they discuss Bronwyn's daughter, Gwen, and Lisa's connection to the other family, Gwen's dad's family. If you remember, Lisa made a comment that Gwen looked like Bronwyn. This was way back in the beginning of the season. And so it happened off camera, and Bronwyn hadn't told anybody or even shown anyone a picture other than Gwen of her father. So she showed Lisa, and Lisa actually recognized him because she was friends with his parents.
Oh my God, yeah.
I mean, talk about a small world. But unfortunately, it snowballed. And we saw this kind of vulnerable moment with Bronwyn where she was saying she actually decided to share this stuff with Lisa because she wanted to get closer to Lisa.
Yeah.
And she felt like their friendship was kind of slipping away, and she couldn't figure out why. And she cops to the fact that everybody was a good friend to her, and she was kind of shitty because she'd run back to Lisa to try to get some sort of approval. And so I thought that was big of her to at least say, yeah, I know. Because Whitney's like, I felt like you didn't want to publicly, claim me as your friend. She's like, you know what? I know, I get it. I fucked up.
Right. And I mean, Lisa hated you, and I was trying to chase Lisa, so cast you aside. I don't need to be friends with you right now.
So Bronwyn tells the whole story, how she was 18, she was in college, she was dating this guy, and she got pregnant. And the two of them went to his family to say she was pregnant, and she said she was shamed horribly.
Yeah.
The family wanted nothing to do with her. The boyfriend dumped her. It's kind of like, you're a whore, my son's perfect.
Yeah,
You know, that whole, I'm sorry, Mormon mentality.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so she even said that her father called and left a message about it as well. So you can't tell me that the family didn't know she was pregnant.
Yeah, what a joke.
So personally, to me, it sounds like 18 years later, they want to absolve themselves of looking like heartless asses. So they kind of threw out this miscarriage theory, and they go to Lisa to spread it on the show so they look more sympathetic.
100%. Yes, absolutely. I mean, doesn't it even just sound like a lie when you hear it? Like immediately?
I have no doubt whatsoever she was shamed by these people. They wanted nothing to do with her. So after this episode, Bronwyn actually posted receipts from Gwen's dad's sister. And these were from 2015, saying that they had heard about Gwen, and it wasn't the first time. And it wasn't the first time their parents had either.
Yeah.
So she's basically posting receipts. And that's what I had said. I tweeted out Bronwyn posting receipts that the family knew about Gwen and that it wasn't a miscarriage. And we got a reply from @LauraWhatAday.BlueSky, who said, of course they knew. For Lisa to go on the after show and do damage control for them was bad enough. But to repeat their version of events, knowing they were untruthful, is, as Todd said, almost libelous.
I know, because that is a great point, because I thought it was interesting, too, that she repeated their version, which is probably the version you believe. Why would you've heard both. You're going to go with the one that you think is true.
Right.
So that's super sad that Bronwyn confided in her and Lisa really didn't give a shit. And I really cannot figure out why Lisa is riding so hard for this family, because unless they own like all the stock in Vita Tequila, then I have no idea what her problem is and why she can't just be like, Bronwyn, I hear you. That's it.
It doesn't
Literally.
even need to be an apology.
No.
Just, I hear what you're saying. I hear it and I accept it.
Yeah.
And I'm taking it in. But she can't do that.
No, I mean, the bar is set so low. And then, honestly...
Barlow.
Oh, my God.
Oh, my God. That's her name. Lisa Barlow.
Oh, my God.
That was like an epiphany.
It was. Wow. Oh, that was funny. I didn't even think of that when
I
said
didn't
it.
either.
No. But yeah, honestly, though, it's just set like on the ground. And then literally Bronwyn's just like, I could give you an option of things that I would accept. And Lisa takes that as, you're telling me what to say. So she gets even more mad.
And then she says, you don't even have to apologize to me because we're not even friendly anymore. Just say, I'm sorry for Gwen.
Yeah.
And then what happens? Lisa starts crying. You're attacking me. You're this. And I gotta say, Meredith and Heather here are like, she's crying. Of course she feels bad. She, insulted Gwen or whatever. And I'm like, that's not it, guys.
No, she's not crying because of that. She's crying because she feels like she's being attacked personally. That this whole issue that has actually nothing to do with her is the issue that she's going to cry about and that Bronwyn needs to apologize to her.
Isn't that ironic?
How does that happen?
You didn't need to say a word to anyone about anything, yet you're feeling attacked.
God.
So I had sent out another post that said, Bronwyn, Lisa will never side with you or understand your side. It's best you know now. The family shamed you and wanted nothing to do with you.
Yeah.
And we got a tweet from @TrapTranslation who said, Lisa is a social climber. So Bronwyn being an outcast to that family means Lisa can never be friends with her because that would put her on the outs with those people. And we know Lisa loves nothing more than being able to drop a name or say someone with money is her friend.
Which I agree with. But the weird thing about this is that you would think Lisa does love someone with money. Who's got more money than Todd?
Well, that's why she picked Todd's side, not Bronwyn's.
There you go. But, I mean, you would think that that's the side that you would choose. And the side of who you're on the show with.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you want, I mean, in this type of TV show land, as many allies as you can get? So why on earth? I don't know. Lisa makes so many friggin' problems for herself when I none of them have to exist if you're just a decent person.
I know.
But yeah, no, she's a social climber, 100%.
Yeah, she is. So I'm going to talk about one more post that I saw. It wasn't in reply to anything that I said, but I had reposted it because I thought it was a really good point.
Yeah.
And it's from @YasminWB.Bluesky, who said, lying about buying expensive jewelry equals typical housewife nonsense. Not cute, but let's address it next season. Bringing up a lie about Gwen being born to make your horrible friends look better, then victimizing yourself when you're called out for it equals nasty work. It's really quite simple.
I love that. And I'm glad that you pulled this
Yes.
post too. Because, yeah, that's exactly it. This jewelry shit is stupid. And, she could have been more clear. And I wish she had.
Yes, and she could have looked better.
Yes, and she could have. So is it great? Not really, but it's something exactly that we can talk about next season if we even want to. I don't even.
All right.
But that's fine.
It's a housewives mistake.
Exactly. And I'm hoping that she cleans it up next season. I think she will.
Yes.
But Lisa, though, literally, what are you doing? Especially when she was so angry about that Angie said that her kid played video games till however late in the morning.
About Lisa's son.
She was so upset about that. So hurt, saying that it was a low blow and that this isn't.
Oh, I know.
I just don't know how you can make the comment of the miscarriage and bring that up and feel good about that.
I know. Just say, I misspoke. That might be how the family feels. It's not my place to get involved. I'm sorry I got involved. If you and Gwen, want to talk to them, they may be open. But I never should have gotten involved.
Mm-hmm.
Period.
That's it.
Or 2 words.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. What are you sorry for? I don't know, but I'm sorry. Okay, I'll take it.
Yeah, that's it. That's all she wants. But Lisa can't talk. Lisa literally cannot have a conversation. That is her biggest weakness. She just wants to talk at you, and that's it. And then you're just supposed to listen to her, but then it's done. Right. She can get her side out, but she doesn't want to listen to you.
So in next week's part 2 of the reunion, they show a sneak peek, and it looks like they talk about Lisa and that circle jerk comment she made about Angie's husband, Sean. Mm-hmm. And he's like, I'm never getting away from this, I guess.
I know. And you want to know what was funny is that I had said about like 2 minutes ago when we were talking about Yasmin's post about how we could address Bronwyn's jewelry like next season. Mm-hmm. We absolutely will. I stupidly thought, no, it's not going to come up again. If this comes up again, it will 100%. So, everything stupid like this will come up. So, yeah.
It's all a big circle.
It really is full of jerks.
They also show Mary and her talking about Robert Jr., mm-hmm. which it seems like he's doing okay.
Yeah, everybody was crying.
Even Andy, wiping a tear. Mm-hmm. And then Meredith has a list of all the names that she's been called.
Oh, God, Meredith.
It's on her phone. She's reading them off.
I don't know why all of Meredith's grievances seem so stupid to me. Like, I'm like, what? God, nobody cares. Like, jeepers.
It's funny. We need kind of the stupid stuff, too.
And you want to know why I actually think that it's funny is because she is so personally affected by it. We all think it's dumb and stupid, but she does not.
Oh, no. I think she's going to have a walk-off. What's a reunion without somebody walking off, right?
Right. Well, it looks good. I was pleased with this part 1, so hopefully part 2 is just as good.
Agreed.
Let's get into this week's episode of Potomac. And we find out that this is the last episode before the finale.
Yes.
And it was a pretty good episode, I thought.
I thought it was good, too.
And it kind of sets up stuff for the finale next week. But we'll pick and choose a couple of scenes from this episode, and we'll talk about those.
Sure.
So the first one that we'll start with is Mia picking up Ink from the airport.
A.K.A.
DJ Applebox.
Who called him that? Karen?
It was Karen. Yeah.
I can't not hear that in my head when his name comes up.
I thought it was so funny, though, how they were filming Mia and Ink, and she just gets out of her car in, like, the airport, and it didn't seem like she was in, like, a parking spot, really.
Right.
Like, there are cars coming. Like, you could get hit in, like, 2 seconds. But anyway, Mia and Ink get in the car, and Ink mentions that Gordon wrote him that Jeremiah is 100% his son, that he had the paternity test done, and that Mia knew weeks ago.
Boom.
Oh my gosh. So here's the problem. I don't know who is trustworthy or believable in any of this.
Yeah.
Which is my biggest hang up is at first I'm like, oh my gosh, see, I knew that she knew a long time ago. But I don't know if Gordon is the one who wrote Ink, okay. But did Mia get an email from like the testing place where he got it done saying, yes, this is the findings?
Yeah, there's 99.9% chance.
Right. Or did Gordon take that upon himself and just write his own?
Or did he pull a Brooks Ayers from Newport Imaging?
Exactly. Yes. Exactly.
Yeah, I don't quite know who to believe either. Nobody in this whole situation is all that trustworthy or believable. Mm-hmm. And Gordon desperately wants Jeremiah to be his son.
Yeah.
So there's that too. But I tend to think he's not going to send her information saying that he did this and it's conclusive if he doesn't have anything. Who's just going to make that shit up?
Yeah, I doesn't quite seem right to me that he wouldn't have just gone and done it himself.
Yeah.
He doesn't need Mia to do anything
Right.
for this.
No, he doesn't.
So it would make sense to me that he would just go and do it. And I do think that she probably knew weeks ago.
Well, she doesn't question any of it.
No.
I mean, when the women brought it up, she was defensive, but she said that she knew. She didn't say weeks ago.
Yeah.
She said a week ago, but she didn't dispute it. So
Right.
my
Well,
guess is she believes it.
I know. Well, I think what she meant is you had to read between the lines there. And yes, I knew a week ago from 4 weeks ago today. Like,
Okay. Well, regardless, she didn't dispute it.
no, she didn't.
You
Yeah.
know, so I think she believes it as well.
Well, and in one of her confessionals, she referred to Gordon as the father of her kids. Mm-hmm. So it's like, we know. We all
Right.
know.
We
This
do
is so
know.
stupid.
Why she didn't tell Ink, I'm not sure. Maybe that's why they're not together anymore.
Could be. Maybe he felt like she was kind of dragging him along,
Yeah.
like lied to him at some point.
Maybe.
I don't know. Next, we'll move on to Greg and Keiarna, who really, for being a housewife, we don't see that much of her.
No, she hasn't had the strongest season.
No, I mean, the last that we really heard from her was when she had that problem with Ashley about her scar. And that was way in the beginning.
I mean, think about it. The newbies this season on other shows are Bronwyn,
Yeah.
who is like a main focal point, and Bose, who's pretty vocal as well. And both made a huge impact, I think, on their seasons. So for Keiarna, it's been a bit of a bust for me.
Yeah. And I'm not sure if they cut out a lot of her scenes or if I'm just not remembering her scenes.
Yeah, same.
So either are not great. But her and Greg go on a date. They go out to dinner. And she's kind of just telling him her issues that she's having. And the biggest one is that she feels like he dismisses her feelings.
Mm-hmm.
And the funny thing about this is that Greg responds with, I don't dismiss them. I don't dismiss your feelings. He says it like 4 times, and he's literally dismissing her feelings when she's saying, I feel that you do that.
Over and over.
And
Oh my
I
gosh.
felt like she was kind of looking at him like, are you hearing yourself? Like, do you hear this? Because this is exactly what I'm saying. Are you not getting that this is what you do?
Yeah,
And
I
he did
gotta
not.
say, when she had the conversation at the table with Karen, Giselle, and Ashley, is that the other one? I really appreciated Giselle's opinion, which was, this is what I would tell my daughter.
Yeah.
And it's don't let anyone dim your light. And she's trying to be on the show. She has a full-time job with her spa and all that. She's very successful. Mm-hmm. But when she's with Greg, she feels small and not her true self, I think she said even. I don't feel like myself.
Yeah.
So you've only been together 2 years, did she say?
Yeah.
That's not a very long time to feel that way already.
No, I know. And you just started living together and you're thinking about not. So it just, be on the show and cut him loose. It's okay. You'll find somebody else.
When Giselle had said that, like, this is what I would tell my daughter, I found it interesting because when I don't know something.
Yeah, I thought of you immediately.
Yeah. If we're at a mechanic, if we're at wherever we are and they're like, you have these options, I always say, if I were your sister, if I were a family member, if I were, your daughter, your mother, whatever, what would you tell them? What would your advice be to them? So, yes, what Giselle said resonated with me immediately because I feel like that's kind of the most sincere advice you can get from someone.
Yeah, I would agree. I don't think that they're a great couple. I don't see that this will last, especially if Keiarna does want to be on the show.
Right.
If Bravo wants to keep her. I don't know.
There's that too.
Right. But if Keiarna does end up getting asked back and she wants to be on the show, then do that instead. Let Greg loose. Let him do his own thing.
Yeah. Cut him loose.
Now we'll move into the last scene of the episode that we're going to talk about. And it has to do with Stacy and her fur babies, Charity, and that she wants all the women to pick a dog up for adoption and walk with them in a fashion show.
Yes.
So, poor Stacy here. So, Stacy invites everyone to pick out dresses and meet her at the dress shop to what they're going to walk in.
Yes, for the event.
Yeah. And she just assumes that everyone's going to do that.
Yeah,
And
she didn't ask anybody,
no,
actually.
No. So that was a bit of a mistake, I think.
Especially with these women.
Well, yes, 100%.
I mean, you're a newbie. Speaking of newbies, I had said Keiarna didn't make much of a splash and Bronwyn and Bose did. Stacy did as well.
Yeah, I know.
She's been great this season.
I would agree. So she didn't really ask anybody. She just assumed everybody would do it because she thinks everybody's a decent person, and nobody is a decent person. So that was her biggest mistake.
Well, to be fair, I don't know how I would feel about that.
Yeah, I know.
Like, yes, absolutely, I would do it, but
Ask me to do it.
Ask me.
So Stacy's talking to Wendy and Ashley first, and tells them that Karen was like, yeah, I'm not coming. And she's kind of like, I don't know why. Why did Karen not want to show up? And Wendy's kind of like filling her in a little bit here. Like, well, I think it's because you didn't stick up for her and you stuck up for Mia. And Stacy doesn't really quite get it. Do you get what Wendy's saying, or are you kind of like Stacy where you're like, it is what it is?
Well, I guess it's kind of how they came at Mia.
Yeah.
It wasn't like, did this happen? Did you know? Did you do this? It was, you're a liar. You lied. You lying liar. And so I think Stacy, that's just not who she is. It's in her nature to kind of be gentle. And this was, an inquisition. It wasn't, anything gentle. Mm-hmm. So I like that she is who she is. I like that she sides with who she sides with based on her own personality. Like, she doesn't do that. Mm-hmm. So she's going to go with how she feels in the moment. It's not going to win you a lot of friends on Housewives, but, might win you with fans.
That's true. Yeah, I know, because on this show, you just need to pick one person. One person that you're good with, usually, or two. Two is good.
Well, she doesn't do that, even.
Yeah.
I think she's like, no, if you're going to talk about me as kids, then I'm not okay with that. Mm-hmm. But then she was Karen's friend in the beginning. Like, don't talk about her DUI. She doesn't realize she's on Housewives yet. We'll see Stacy season 2 and see how it goes.
That is true. Because I think that she's like, don't talk about me as kids, not realizing that Mia talks about me as kids all the time. And that's usually where it stems from.
Right.
So there's that. But then Giselle comes in a little bit later, and Giselle's all pissy. And she's like, I'm not going to walk either. And, why did you count me in when I didn't say that I would? And then she starts doing stupid shit where she's like, I was bit by a dog.
Well, we at least know where Giselle's annoyance comes from, and it's that Stacy didn't donate to Giselle's charity.
Well, it's like, oh my God, you threw her out.
I know.
Do you not remember?
She's like, how can she sleep at night? I'm thinking, very well, she's fine. You threw her out of the event. So, like, what did you expect?
I know. Well, I guess we expected when Ashley went out there to that Sprinter van with the QR code that they were going to actually donate, I guess.
I thought this whole thing was super funny. I thought, yes, Giselle was super pissy, but I actually thought it was funny.
Okay, I know.
And I think Stacy will come around and realize that, this is a different ball game and you're going to have to step it up.
And Giselle says to her, too, that, I didn't think charities were your thing. What does that mean?
Offensive. Oh my God. I didn't think you were a kind, giving person. It's basically read between the lines.
I know. The look on Wendy's face when she said that was
so
funny.
Stacey was so offended. Oh my God.
It was so funny.
Yeah, the whole thing was funny. I thought the whole scene was funny because it's all very petty shade.
Oh, yeah.
And it cracked me up that Giselle was literally lying. No, I didn't get bit by a dog. No.
But they
and
don't
even
know
Wendy
that.
was funny in her confessional. Oh, my God. If I was a dog, I'd bite her, too. All of it was funny to me.
It was all good and, funny. Exactly. What we do find out, though, is that Stacy has some tea on Karen.
Yes.
And it's literally that Karen has talked shit about Mia, who, not surprising.
Right.
But the surprising person is that she talked shit about Wendy to Stacy.
Wow. Yeah, I didn't see that coming.
No. I mean, I have no doubt that Karen would say stuff about Mia, especially to Stacy if they're friends. That's fine.
Right.
But Stacy literally telling Mia, oh, yeah, she talked about Wendy.
That
Holy
she was
crap.
self-centered
Yeah.
and couldn't be trusted and
Yeah.
like harsh stuff.
Which I'm not really sure where that would come from.
I don't know either because Wendy's been super supportive of Karen, I felt like.
Yeah. I mean, they did literally like flashbacks too of every time that she's, supported Karen, even when she's not in the car. Like, let's not talk about Karen. She's not here to defend herself.
Yeah.
Not one single person I feel like has ever done that on Housewives.
Oh,
like, they
right.
all say that they do that, but this, I don't feel like any of them do.
No, it gives them the opportunity to talk about you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
I know. It was surprising to me, but the shit's going to hit the fan soon here.
It will. And we see that in the sneak peek for next week, which is that Wendy actually ends up taking Karen to the White House for her Dr. Wendy show.
Right.
Big deal for her. Pretty cool.
Huge deal. I would agree.
And then at the charity event, we will see that Stacy tells Wendy about what Karen said, and it would appear that Wendy and Eddie leave early.
Yes. It shows them exiting with Karen saying, Wendy,
So clearly Wendy believes it. I don't know if Karen told her, like owned up to it or not. We'll see next week.
Yeah.
Also, though, at Stacy's charity event, it just looks like there's like dog shit everywhere.
What happened? Because I can understand one nervous dog,
Yeah.
But it looks like every single dog there
I know.
took a shit.
And I don't know if they're just trying to make it look like that.
Yeah,
but
it
it
sounded
looked like
crazy. Like people were screaming and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, why would you scream? That
I
seems
know.
like such an overreaction.
So I don't know. It seemed weird, but it's like there's food in there.
I know.
Like,
Oh,
it's
God, the
just gross.
smell.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be pretty gross.
So that seems gross. And then we see that Karen was found guilty of a DUI, too.
Yeah.
So all that'll be on the finale.
Finale, then reunion. Thanks for listening to episode 34 of Nice-ish. You can follow us on Instagram, Twitter, Threads, or Blue Sky at Nice-ish Podcast or Love Cindy C. You can listen to Nice-ish wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube. Look for new episodes every Monday. Thank you for listening and have a nice-ish day.